Taking a look at AMC stock, unfortunately, it's been stuck underneath a downward trend resistance line dating back since June 2nd, 2021. So it went up, got knocked down, went up, got knocked down, went up, got knocked down. So that's just 3 touch points right there. Fourth touch point right here, went up, got knocked down as well. This was back in relatively June 15th, 2021. Went up, got knocked down. Yes, a false breakout right here, but even after the fact, it still got knocked down right there, and then 2 times right there. So multiple touch points. What it would take to pass this downward trend resistance line if it were to spike up right now. Today is August 6, 2021, and it closed at $32.76. Actually, sorry about that. That was the last trading day. Today's August 9th, 2021. It would take around $48.50 to pass it. Now, there are other resistance levels to pass too. So, for example, if you looked horizontally right here, it would pretty much take a lot of effort to pass, give or take, the $58, $59 price point. I think it's more likely to be 59. I just did an amateur drawing. And then plus that coincides with the psychological clean numbers at the $60 price point. So just to visually show, went up, got knocked down, went up, got knocked down multiple times. Yes, false breakouts right here, but even right here, it was pretty strong resistance levels at the $59 price point. So there's that. Now, I'm going to explain what a good entry position is for this stock, AMC stock, and why you'll be able to benefit off the profits for it, because it is it's not extremely shorted looking at the raw numbers, but it is shorted quite a bit, and I'll show the shorted positions in terms of percentages and all that stuff, and when it'll hit the price points I'm going to talk about, and what you could expect the movement will be overall. So first of all, in terms of the entry position price point that you would probably want to enter at, because it's stuck at a downward trend resistance line right here. Now, it's not as clean as the previous downward trend resistance line explained, but nonetheless, it is in a way going to the downward trend resistance line overall. So right about here, dating back since, hypothetically, I would say more prevalently July 26, 2021, it's being kept down. I think by the end of August, you could expect the movement to be, even though it'll spike up, it'll look like it's doing well. It'll probably go up to 35, 36. There's quite a bit of resistance at the $35, $36 price point. If you want to count for false breakout, maybe 37, but it's probably going to essentially get knocked down until, not necessarily all the way until end of August, so to say, but I would say pretty much close to the end of August, and then hopefully bounce off the $25, $26 price point and go to the upside. Now, it depends on how long it takes it to do that. If it takes too long, then this downward trend resistance line will bring the price point even lower in terms of the high side, if that makes sense. So like it's $48.50 right about here in the early parts of August or mid-August almost. But then if you take to the end of August, you're looking at, for example, only going up to the $43 price point. So there's that. Now, just to show the overall support, the reason why I think $25, $26 price point is a good support level, you can see it bounced back up, or in May 28th, give or take, plus or minus a few days, you can see it bounced at the $25, $26 price point. Now, if we go to the 5-year chart right about here, cross over to the beginning parts of the stock, you can see, let me visually show it too. This is just going to be an amateur line, but hopefully you get the idea. So around the $25, $26 price point right about here, yeah, 25, showing 25, 26. You can see it bounced off support level at the $25 price point right about here a couple times, and then right about here a clean bounce as well. Now, there was resistance levels as well, so went up, got knocked down, went up, got knocked down, went up, got knocked down, went up, got knocked down. So the $25, $26 price point is a support level and a resistance level. So I'm pretty confident it would bounce off that price point if we were to test that level. Now, quick disclaimer before I continue to show the other facts and price points and all stuff, I'm not a financial advisor, I'm not a professional. Everything I do share with you is just my opinion, it is not advice, so please do your own due diligence and research before buying and selling. Now, the reason why let me show the shorter positions first, and then I'm going to explain what price points are going to be difficult to pass for the time being, and pretty much all the way till, I would say, probably end of August. So if we look at AMC stock, statistics, all that stuff, we can see right here, in terms of shorted percentage for floated shares and outstanding shares, the difference is just restricted shares. So floated shares does not include restricted shares. It's at almost 16%, same with outstanding shares. Now, this is not extremely shorted territory. To be extremely shorted territory, you have to be above 20% shorted for the stock. But I don't think that's necessarily a concern because we've seen that technically it's been stated, like for example on CNBC and all stuff. Could have been by accident, not 100% sure. Seemed like it, but again, not 100% sure. Not 100% sure. But there are naked shorted shares. It looks like, for what it seems like, what's been announced, which is technically illegal in some countries and in gray areas in some countries. If that is the case, and there's naked shorted shares, the difference between naked shorted shares and just shorted shares is you don't have possession of the stock to short it. You're shorting it and without having it, which is extremely risky, but I guess it could be done, or it can be done, but it's legal. And if that's the case and you add that, which is not part of these numbers, then you could be potentially in the extremely shorted territory, which is above 20%. Now, the reason why I state that is because the overall momentum right now with this MAC line, which indicates if it's a bearish or bullish movement, right now it is in a negative territory. So in the 5-year movement, it is bearish and is not optimistic, indicating more downside, which coincided with this downward trend resistance line that I showed earlier, where it's keeping us down, which technically means that I would pretty much assume that, yes, it's going to go down to the $25, $26 price point, essentially almost end of August, and then bounce up to the upside. Now, that doesn't mean that it's going to be all great, because then even if you bounce up to the upside, you'd have to pass the $35, $36 price point that I'm going to explain soon about the resistance level, because that's going to be quite difficult to pass 35, 36. But then after that, you're going to have more on the way, but ultimately I just want to show $43 price point is going to be quite a bit of resistance to pass this downward trend resistance line that I talked about. If it doesn't pass, it's going to get knocked down and then test the other levels and then probably test it again. But we'll approach that when that time does come. The reason why I'm more confident that it's going to pass, or it's going to bounce off the $25, $26 price point, not only the horizontal support level that we see right here, and then it's kind of compressed because it's the 1-year chart, but if you look at the 1-year MAC line, so this is the 1-year movement, it is still bearish, it is still not optimistic, it's still in the negative, but it is trying to cross over to a positive. So this is more of a not a compressed, but like a shorter time span than the 5-year chart, indicating in terms of the more shorter term, not the longer term, it will bounce at one point and go to the upside. So there's that, and it's technically approaching. So this is the RSI chart, and this indicates if it's extremely extremely sold or overbought, and right now it's approaching extremely sold territory in a way, in terms of the 1-year movement. So it was extremely bought before, back in June 2nd, 2021, right about here. So you could have technically anticipated that at one point it's going to drop, but right here you could technically expect at one point it's going to be a good time to enter. So right about here, you could just visually see at one point it was extremely sold. You would have entered in January 5th, 2021, and it would have been a great time to enter at $1.97, which would have been amazing, obviously, with this run up that we've had. But yeah, there's that. And then I'm just visually seeing right now, let me just see, this might be amateur, but yeah, right about here, if we were to bounce off it, technically you might not even be able to get at the 25. Yeah, it would have to be dropping dramatically right now. So maybe even entering at $28 price point would be good, if you don't want to risk it and then having a bounce up to the upside. Now, I personally would wait for the 25, 26, so that way I'd be fully covered, but you might miss it. I don't know, it's hard to tell. But this is an amateur upward trend support line right here, where it bounced off 2 times, 3 times, and potentially the 4th time right about there. But I don't know, that's just amateur in my opinion to just draw that right now. The reason why I'm saying $35, $36 price point is going to be quite a bit of resistance is this moving averages right here. So this moving average right here coincides with the $35 price point, and then this one around $36.50. Plus there's a horizontal resistance level right about here around the $35 price point. So there are multiple times where it went up to it and got knocked down at $35, $36 price point, and I think that's going to be quite a bit of an issue to pass overall. So we'll see how it goes for the time being, but those are the price points that we're going to have difficulties passing. So $35, $36 price point, 48 if we spike up. There are additional price points that are going to be difficult. So for example, if you look horizontally right here as well, right about here, you could see that there's going to be difficulties passing $39 price point, which coincides with, again, with the psychological clean numbers, which is the $40 price point. Hopefully it does move to the upside quickly and has that upward trend momentum. Now, if we look for the next few trading days, right now for the time being, we see a nice bounce. So basically, if it were to spike up, it's probably going to get knocked down at around 35, 36 anyway. Yeah, and then probably come back down, bounce off 31.50, go up to 34, and then probably come back down to like $29, so $30, I guess, and then go up to the upside. So that's the momentum or the movement we're seeing. But we'll see how it goes. I'll keep you guys posted daily probably, and go from there. So that's it for the video. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to ask. I'll try to answer them as soon as possible. If you like the video, consider dropping a like. It does help out the channel, so thank you so much for that. And if you like videos like this or other stock videos, or other financial videos, consider subscribing so you'll be notified when I do upload those videos. And that's all. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.